I'm Bridget Phetasy, and this is your dumpster fire for the week of May 16th to May 22nd.
And the unicorns dance while the world burns, world burns.
World burns.
Okay, listen up, folks. We didn't tell you to do this last week, and we noticed a difference. Please, if you are a supporter of the show, especially after the show that we're about to do, and you want to help out, and you want to keep us alive and independent, subscribe to Phetasy.com. It's the easiest way to support us. And trigger alert, there's something to piss off everybody in this episode. So if you thought you liked us, you probably won't by the end of this episode. And we are going to live by our ethos of this show, which is that we take your sacred cows and make burgers out of them. So don't ever tell me that I didn't warn you.
Right, here we go. Old in chief. Biden criticizes the Coast Guard graduates he's addressing for being dull.
Doesn't this seem a little bit like the pot calling the kettle black?
You're a really dull class. I mean, come on, man. Is the sun getting to you?
Come on, man. There's some testosterone lacking in the military. A theme of this show today.
Then we have dumpster fire for president. Albert Watkins, the Capitol riot lawyer, says his clients are artards. His most notable client is the QAnon shaman.
This guy is straight out of some kind of... It's like a reality show at this point, for sure. Of course, Trump's followers are as crazy as him, as well as their lawyer. I could not write this character. It's like, oh, the old retard defense. Who hasn't tried that one before? If this was anyone else, they would be disbarred, kicked out, canceled. And it's because he's talking about Trump supporters that it's like everyone just let it slide. His biography on his website is crazy.
Let me see.
Self-centered, egotistical, and a self-proclaimed expert in all matters.
But the opening line, Albert S. Watkins, the founding member and senior counsel with the firm, is quite candidly beyond description.
Yes, he is. Although I would describe him as retarded. What's next?
Never woke enough.
This is almost breaking Bridget.
The video comparing the Russian army to the U.S. Army goes viral.
Okay, Russians are hot. And now I understand why I can smell them.
Oh, no, we cut that out of the main. No one knows what you're
too
talking
bad.
about.
Looks like you're going to have to go subscribe to understand that joke. But our in-house Phetasy subscribers know what I'm talking about.
They're raffling right now.
Oh, man, that video. The Russian and the working out.
Своих возможностей. К черту границы. А без боя нет побед.
It's going to be my porn.
That video made me want to go join the Russian army.
Yeah.
Себе. На что ты способен? Вопросы могут остаться без ответов.
And then it was cut with the cartoon that the army put out.
It begins in California with a little girl raised by two moms.
On YouTube, they had to disable the comments because it was getting ratioed, and it got 36,000 at the time of somebody writing the article about it. It got 36,000 dislikes and like 500 likes.
Yeah.
It was just getting destroyed.
I like to think I've been defending freedom from an early age.
I don't know about you guys, but after I saw that cartoon video of a young woman with lesbian moms, I feel safer already.
After meeting with an army recruiter, I found it. A way to prove my inner strength.
It's just the fact that it was a cartoon and the army trying to go woke is not a good look.
I wouldn't trust these people to guard a Trader Joe's.
I take back every time I said we needed a war.
Yes, because we're going to lose it. And I realize I sound like Ted Cruz, the lunatic, when I say this. But I don't think it's too outside of the mainstream to say we don't really care if our army is woke.
Yeah.
Women in the military was a mistake. I blame this all on Demi Moore for lying to us about the fact that women can be Navy SEALs. I can't. Don't do it. Don't do it. Is this supposed to inspire our enemies? I feel like our enemies looked at this and they were like, well, I feel inspired. I feel like China looked at this video and they upped their long-term plan by 20 years. They said they were trying to get Gen Z to join the army.
Right.
Like we want those purple-haired pansies guarding our borders. This is not good.
No.
This is not good.
This whole show is about shit that's like, well, this is disturbing.
No, we've unleashed a genie of which we don't know how self-destructive it is.
Yeah.
That's the problem with all this crap, is that it's basically I can't imagine why people who've been trained to believe that America is a failed state and it's also an imperial colonizing nation would ever want to fight in the army or have any pride in their country.
Uh-huh. And speaking of people who have pride, what is happening? More creepy vaccine jingles. Oh, this one was bad.
Really
This one was very bad.
We're gonna get it soon, and then we can play. Yay!
I feel like there's a large vaccine hesitant pedophile crowd, and this is who they're targeting with this ad.
We will get to play together when it's done. The shot.
I also feel like this chick dresses up in diapers in her spare time.
Oh, yeah.
Remember that crew that we covered?
Oh, yeah.
You're
What were they
right.
called
Guy.
again?
I can't remember what they're called. I deleted that from my brain
Yeah.
immediately.
Control Z.
That
Control
was
Z.
long ago. Yes, I think she's one of them.
I think it was just the adult diaper wearing community. That's what they call
Yeah, the
themselves.
adult diaper wearing community. I guarantee this is her.
We will get to play together when it's done. The shot.
Every week there's a new jingle.
Yeah. Are these people, do they really think they're like going to go
No, they're
become
just
stars
chasing
because
clout.
of this?
Yeah.
But to have that amount of self-confidence. A lot of
That
confidence.
is a lot of confidence. I want the confidence of a woman in pigtails doing a vaccine jingle. Like, subscribe, and comment. Touch my bells and buttons.
California. The Los Angeles County Registrar has approved the petition to recall Los Angeles County District Attorney George Gascon.
Gascon is letting out all the criminals. I mean, Jesus Christ, what did you think? That people just want to live in crime-ridden states? Eventually, they're going to vote people out and replace them with people. This is how you get, like, the overcorrection, though, of the police states. Which we don't want. So get your shit together. And I feel like California, it's like one of those civilization games that you play where you're like, oh, this just went sideways. Reset. Like, can we just get a do-over completely on all of the people we've elected? It's so bad.
So bad.
But at least people are pushing back and speaking out and getting mad. And they're like, F this. Can we just recall everyone? They're trying to recall Bonin, too. He's the council member, and he kind of controls Venice to the Palisades and all the beaches, and it's just been a disaster. And he gave a whole speech because there were a bunch of arson fires in the Palisades, and he was talking about the fires, and it was just people chanting recall Bonin through the entire
They're booing.
speech.
Yeah.
It was so awkward.
to protect lives and property here in these communities.
How do you sign booze? Because he had the interpreter.
Just thumbs down.
Thumbs down.
Yeah, he just kept going, too.
Like, I mean, it's a education in politicians, just like talking their stupid talking points through booze from their constituents.
Yeah, that's some confidence right there, too.
I want the confidence of a council member getting booed for a full 5-minute talk. Never misses a beat. VPN.
I gotta get one. I'm gonna sign up for this.
I have a VPN after my identity got stolen.
Speaking of reasons to protect yourself digitally, make Orwell fiction again. Google Docs gets social justice update, autocorrecting to gender neutral and politically correct language. They're going to correct things like changing mailman to mail carrier and chairman to chairperson.
It's just a deep sigh from the bottom of my soul. Changing definition of words. If you thought autocorrect was bad, wait until it's woke autocorrect.
Ugh.
It's like what you meant to say was, I'm sorry about my privilege. You're like, no, I was just saying best wishes.
It's like, I'm tired.
What the fuck? Google. Yeah.
But they don't even know if there's going to be like an opt-out option.
Yeah, that's a crazy thing. It's not clear if you can opt out of this. Oh God, it's all so creepy. How does it nobody see this? How are we just slipping into this?
I know.
I don't understand. It feels like it's getting so much worse, so much faster. It's just so creepy that it's making these suggestions and predicted speech that it's still training you to think a certain way.
Yeah.
And also training you in what is acceptable and what isn't. Acceptable speech, acceptable language, and what is not. Subtly. Like, talk about frog in boiling water.
Yeah.
And people are terrified. They don't want to speak out. Nobody's going to speak out and risk losing their job. I know people who have been spending 5 hours a week on having conversations and how to have conversations about, what your privilege is and bias and all. This is what they're spending hours on at work. Who's going to push back against it if it's your job? It's infected every industry. Every single Fortune 500 company has been infected with this stuff. Our military, it is crazy.
Yeah.
And if you aren't just going along with it and you're like, what? It's progress. You feel like a crazy person.
Right.
Oh, but you can't say crazy. You have to say baffling.
That's right. It's truly deeply disturbing. It's so totalitarian in such a subtle way under the guise of
progress. And that's the problem, is that it undermines actual progress.
Yeah.
It's undermining because it's all about power, really. And it is a covert way that it subtly attaches itself to any single value that you hold and exploits that value. So if your value, for instance, in the Western world is freedom, it's going to attach itself to freedom, pretend that it's upholding freedom while it really seeks to minimize and limit it. It's not good. It's just so bad.
Along with fracturing our communities through intersectionality and the Chicago thing. Are we about to go into that? Bless you.
Yeah, Chicago. I mean, this is a great example. Our next one.
Everything is racist. Mayor Lightfoot of Chicago will only grant interviews to Black and brown reporters.
It was for her one-on-one sit-downs
for her
2-year anniversary.
Yeah.
Everything about this is bad.
Yeah.
It's just dividing us all up into groups and saying that you can only come in if you're a certain color this is something that a white supremacist would say.
Yeah.
That you would attribute to white supremacy. And now it is being passed as anti-racism.
Yeah.
Which is crazy because I have a hard time. If you just read these statements and knew nothing about the person saying them, you would think that it was a racist statement.
Yes.
Like this is something that would come out of the mouth of someone in like Jim Crow era South.
Yeah.
It's just ridiculous. And now we're somehow slipping back there. And again, it's under progress. And again, we've said this a million times on this show. The class war, which has divided all of us up into groups and has us fighting this race war with one another so that they can just be tra-la-lying on their $500 million yachts and shit, is disgusting. Of course, all these corporations are invested in this divisive shit. Okay, so you set that line and you say, I'm going to give the interviews to the Black and brown people. How then do you determine who's more oppressed and who gets the first interview? What is that? Is there like an audition? Do you have to tell your whole story and then figure, is it who's got the saddest story gets to go first? Everything about this culture is insane. And then Tulsi came out and rightfully called her out on what is very racist language, although the definition of racism has been completely changed. And you can only be racist if you're white. And she called it out and said she actually called for her resignation and then got piled on and trended on the internet. And everybody told her that she was racist.
Of course. But she knew she was going to take that bullet and still. It makes me think of someone like Candace Thompson, who was on Watkins Welcome recently. And she talked about being a light-skinned Black woman and kind of the flack she gets from her own community for that. And would she need to prove her ethnicity in order to be able to be allowed to interview this woman? What the is this doing to us?
It's so bad. It's all so bad. Everything is so bad. It's just the genie's out of the bottle.
Yeah.
We're seeing, we will get to this, but we're seeing the Asian hate that was happening. For example, Asians and Jews are a good example of people who don't fit into the intersectional diagram, and they use them basically as minorities when they need them to be, and whites as when they're not convenient for the narrative. And they've never really fit, and they've always been a problem. And now you're seeing a ton of violence on American streets against Asians and Jews. Like, this is fucking insane. You can't put that genie back in the bottle. And there's no police in these cities. They're always saying it's like middle America and all these racists, and all the racists I see are in San Francisco, LA, and New York right now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's fucking bonkers. And like, people need to start calling this shit out. Not only white people can be racist. That is a destructive ideology that is having real life repercussions on our streets. What happened to rhetoric matters. We had no problem calling it out rightfully in Charlottesville, but now suddenly we can't say, like, what happens to fucking silence is violence and all this shit? Where are you fucking people?
Mm-hmm.
It makes me crazy. It's super upsetting, and the hypocrisy makes me so insane. And the fact that people are too afraid to speak out, like, fuck off. Now is the time to speak out. Now is the time to speak out against your freaking school system that's trying to traffic this shit in. Speak out against your business that's trying to traffic this shit in, because it's destructive, and you're seeing the real life destruction all over America. If this was an ideology that was like uplifting and uniting, why aren't we seeing that?
Well, let's move on to the problem that we're not paying any attention to whatsoever, and that's probably going to be the one that kills us all. Proof we're living in a simulation. They keep trying to warn us about UFOs, and no one cares.
This is the craziest thing. For a year and a half, they've been trying to tell us that UFOs are real and that the aliens are probably coming. Like, they're priming the pump for an alien invasion.
Uh-huh.
They're telling us to get ready, and we're like, tra-la-la, whatever.
Right.
We've been talking about this for a year.
Yeah.
They keep saying, hey, aliens are real. Then they do a 60 minutes interview with people who have seen alien unidentified flying objects that they can't explain.
And we saw this little white tic-tac looking object.
As Dietrich circled above, Fravor went in for a closer look.
And starts mirroring me. So as I'm coming down, it starts coming up.
He said it was about the size of his F-18.
So I go like this, and it's climbing still. And when it gets right in front of me, it just disappears.
These total Air Force guys who are junkies about like all kinds of speed and flight and everything. And they're like, I don't understand this. It defies the laws of gravity.
Imagine a technology that can do 600 to 700 G-forces, fly at 13,000 miles an hour, can evade radar, can fly through air and water and possibly space, has no obvious signs of propulsion, and yet still can defy the natural effects of Earth's gravity.
And we're just like, yeah, whatever. They keep telling us about aliens when we're down here with our race wars and our woke military. Honestly, I've never felt closer to any character in any movie than Tiffany in Independence Day welcoming the aliens. Take us away, dear leaders.
Right before she gets blown up.
Yeah, but at least I won't have to listen to this insane shit anymore.
Making of a eunuch.
Also known as the emotional terrorism of Oprah and Harry.
Prince Harry opens up.
I refuse to call him a prince anymore.
In his new Apple TV series with Oprah, The Me You Can't See.
What words have you heard around mental health? Crazy? Can't keep it together.
Here's the thing. Another thing that's been totally co-opted and destroyed is mental health. So on the heels of a pandemic in which the poor suffered the most of anybody and had the most mental health crisis, small businesses got destroyed. I think there was an article that a third of restaurants in LA got shut down during the pandemic.
Permanently.
Closed. You're seeing the destruction of our middle class, small businesses in particular. You've had people who haven't had their kids going to school. And then you're going to parade out Prince Harry and Oprah and all of these rich, famous celebrities as the people who are the face of the suffering post-pandemic? This makes me want to kill myself.
I'm thinking about it and I'm like,
if you're going to kill yourself, call the suicide hotline.
Why does this bother me so much? Because a lot of times it's like, okay, we know Oprah's story is like horrifying.
And so is Prince Harry's.
And so it's like all of these things, but it's like something has changed in our cultural climate right now. I just have no tolerance to be preached to from any of these people about their struggles,
their
and suffering.
Well, what's changed too is that it feels emotionally manipulative.
Yeah.
So there's something psychotic about this, and you can't put a finger on it because it's weaponized victimhood.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to point and say, hey, this makes me feel weird and I don't really know why. And it feels like you're just monetizing victimhood and this is a cash grab. And then people will yell at you and tell you that you don't have a heart or any empathy and that they're trying to do good and start a conversation about mental health. The conversation started about mental health. Have you not heard the way people talk? It's all in the language of therapy now. Everybody talks about their trauma and their victimhood and their PTSD. I just can't get over the fact too that Harry went from this like badass Apache helicopter pilot to a dude talking on a podcast about his daddy issues and whining about Joe Rogan and how Joe Rogan needs to shut up. And if you come for Joe Rogan, I will come for you. I will go to war for that man. That guy has held the center for all of us. He's the only reason we're not all dressed up for the woke army.
And now for Conspiracy Corner with Sammy Flaps and Folds. Epstein's prison guards admitted they falsified records. After making a deal with federal prosecutors, they will serve 100 hours of community service.
No shit. I bet they're like working on cleaning up garbage on some freeway that was sponsored by Bill Clinton.
Clinton body count. Look it up.
Yeah, I love how in that article they're like, Epstein killed him, and that's why Epstein killed himself. And everyone in the comments is like, Epstein killed himself. How is this coming out right now?
But
and again,
also,
it's being buried. It's being buried. Epstein didn't kill himself, and the aliens are coming.
So what happened was the guards were supposed to be doing regular checks.
They lied.
They lied and said that they were doing their rounds. But really, they were shopping for furniture and buying motorcycles online.
With mysterious money, apparently.
And instead of going to prison, now they just get to pick up trash on the side of the highway.
All the victims, their secret, like any chance of them getting any kind of retribution or closure died when he got whacked, but probably by the Clintons.
Right, and all of his
by the global elite.
All of his accomplices, anyone, in his little network that he had going there. It's all
Man,
gone.
I mean, it is getting so bad that they're like, this shit goes all the way to the top. They're like, oh, the Epstein guards actually weren't there. And they're like, release the alien footage.
So Epstein didn't kill himself.
That one's for you, Luke Salazar.
We see you in the comments.
We see you, Luke.
Okay, and then
stop eating bugs.
The cicadas are coming, and they're packed with protein and gluten-free, and all these people are coming out with recipes about how to eat the cicadas.
For those that are more adventurous, they can try out some of these cicadas and get a taste for them.
I want cicada tacos. Cicadas. Sam's like, stop trying to get this weird word going.
Stop it.
Cicadas.
I like it.
Eating bugs.
Sam, shrimp and lobster are like the lice of the sea.
Then let those be the only bugs we eat. I'm
but
fine
lobster
with that.
is delicious. You're going to tell me.
You don't know cicadas aren't delicious, do you?
They're
no,
not
but
delicious.
now some of them have fungus.
Oh, God.
That people are eating them, and then now they're coming out with fungus.
You're going to
on
sit
their
here and try and tell me
genitalia.
cicadas are as delicious as lobster.
I don't like lobster, so I don't know.
Why don't you like lobster?
I don't like lobster. It's gross.
Wow.
Maggie's like, because it tastes like bugs. Exactly!
I'm not saying I'm going to go out and eat cicadas. I'm just saying.
Ever since we started talking about Agenda 2030 and eating less meat, now all of a sudden everybody's talking about eating bugs.
Agenda 2030, it's going to be Agenda 2025. I mean,
2022, probably.
Yeah, we're ramped up.
Dumpster diving.
What's next in the dumpster? Oh, look, it's a baby.
Oh.
We're never going to get sponsored again.
All right. Governor Greg Abbott signs fetal heartbeat bill banning most abortions in Texas.
We realize this is a topic that is very charged, and generally I never like wading into it. But this is one instance where I just thought it was kind of ironic that the guy who said no vax ports because my body, my choice is signing a fetal heartbeat bill, which is 6 weeks.
Ugh.
I mean, it effectively bans abortion.
Right. Most people
don't
no
even know
idea
it.
that they're pregnant.
Yeah. Yes. It's a fraught topic, I realize. And unfortunately, I'm one of those annoying people who can see things from both sides. And I have heard both sides of the debate, but I am a woman of liberty. Mm-hmm. And I believe my body, my choice. I do think there should be some guardrails.
I do too.
I'm a little squishy about it. I'm like, okay, 5 months beyond that. Okay, we might be pushing.
I'm a little squishy about it too, but no, this is not okay with
Here's the thing. I think most people, when you survey Americans, most people are like pretty chill with it within the first 3 months.
Yeah.
And after that, the numbers start dropping. People start saying,
yeah.
Like they've kept babies alive that have been born at 22 weeks, I think. So that's like a little over 5 months. It's obviously a topic that many people have many feelings about. And I don't want to hear any of them. I don't even like going into it, but I actually think the mainstream opinion is pretty squishy. Mm-hmm. I feel like this gets co-opted by the loudest people who are on the extremes, and generally people lean really pro one way or another. Mm-hmm. And then there are people who kind of have lots of feelings about it, can understand where everybody's coming from, and have compassion and are willing to have nuanced conversations and discussions about this. But that gets lost. And meanwhile, also getting lost are the millions of women who either have to make this decision for heartbreaking reasons, and their voices get completely lost.
I think it would be disastrous for this country if abortions became illegal.
70% of Americans are for pro-choice, within reason. I don't think that they're like, this is where I hate the left, where they're like, we just skip after the abortion clinic up to 9 months. I'm like, you're not helping.
No. Yeah.
Like,
it's a heartbreaking...
A, people don't skip off.
Yeah.
And B, the large majority of people aren't skipping there at 9 months. That's just like a talking point that gets weaponized. And then it's not helping on the right when they're like, baby killers. Like, you're not convincing anybody to come over to your side by calling everybody who maybe has to make this decision or even considers it a baby killer.
Yep.
Really what they're trying to do is get all of these laws kicked up to the Supreme Court so they can hopefully overturn Roe v. Wade. Roe v. Wade is a shockingly thin argument as it is. There's not very many protections for women in the Constitution. My whole guess is that we're going to need a trans man to make this a civil rights issue, and then we will be able to get the protections we deserve as women.
If a trans man stands up for us, it'll be like, abortions for all.
The patriarchy is so crafty. I'm relying on you.
Okay, breaking Bridget.
We'll move on to a topic that is less controversial and will piss less people off.
Israel and Palestine.
Israel-Palestine. The abortion debate of geopolitics. Because everybody has a side automatically, and there is no room for discussion in the middle or nuance. And if you even try to ask questions or figure anything out, you will be screamed at. And if you're a moron like me, you generally try to stay out of it. Except recently, this isn't even really about the Israel-Palestine thing. My rant this week is about how there is a surge in violence on American streets, violence, attacks, and verbal assault of Jews. You would think that would be a really bad thing, and it would be on every single media outlet, and that everybody, particularly on the left, would be calling out all the Nazis who are going after these people. And instead, we are met with dead silence. No one can cover it because everybody on the left, it's become this issue of if you're on the left, you generally are supportive of Palestine. And so you are met with this tricky thing of saying, oh, I think actually AOC came out and said, we are not, like any act of anti-Semitism is horrific. So good for her for speaking up, although she's part of the reason this genie got let out of the bottle. And people need to own what they've been saying and the rhetoric that they have been unleashing in the world that has led to the violence. And mostly, I just can't stand the fucking hypocrisy because I got called a Nazi for 4 years for the simple fact of just not saying, hey, Trump is maybe not literally Hitler. And now those same people who had Patreons where they're making $30,000 a month saying Trump is literally Hitler, fucking silent. Dead silent, not saying a word about any of the violence. Like it actually hurts it makes me crazy.
Violence against Jews.
I can stand and listen to people talking about it, but at the end of the day, if the rhetoric is leading to violence against Jews and anti-Semitism rising all over the world, you're seeing it in London, it's happening all over the world, that is a bad sign. This is why they have felt the need to have their own state and defend themselves, because inevitably it leads to, oh, let's take this out on all of the Jewish people in the world. There was a great article that Barry Weiss published on her Substack. It wasn't by her. It was by, I'm blanking on his name. We'll just show the article. He talks about how we've lived in this kind of, particularly in America, cozy time where there was like historically not this just the persecution of the Jews for all of freaking history, and that we've forgotten how that this is something that we take for granted, particularly in America. And Barry, I think, said once that anti-Semitism is a good barometer of a society's health. It's like the immune response when society is sick. Anti-Semitism generally usually rises before world wars. And whenever it seems like there's like the force is out of balance and people are suffering, the anti-Semitism seems to really predict a lot of this. We're not in a great place. No. I can't even watch this stuff. It is so disturbing to me seeing mobs of people. A person got lit on fire in Midtown Manhattan. A Jewish man got lit on fire by a mob, and didn't even make it to the news somehow.
Oh my God.
There was an incident in LA, multiple incidents. And this should be all over the news, and it's not. We have said never again. That's the refrain about the Holocaust, and never again is now.
Yeah.
This is the time to speak out against this. That's the problem with so much of the ideology on the left. And we've been saying this for freaking years.
Yeah.
There's so many people have been saying there is anti-Semitism on just as much on the left as there is on the right. It's just in a different form.
Yeah.
You can condemn Israel, the government, and have your feelings about Israel. But if you're going to put out, like, for instance, the LA Teachers Union put out a statement and they were condemning Israel. But nowhere in that statement was a condemnation of Hamas.
Yeah.
You need to condemn the fucking terrorists who are shooting rockets at these people and would happily have all of us dead, not just everybody in Israel.
All of
Right.
us.
All of us.
Black people, women, LGBTQ.
Americans, all of us.
Doesn't matter.
You think they give a shit shit about any of us. Like, that's what's so crazy to me. It's a sickness. I don't understand. This is why this identity politic, like turning everything into oppressor and oppressed, is so dangerous for society. Because in this instance, you are actually trying to say that Israel is the oppressed. There are memes out there that compare them to Hitler. I'm like, you guys don't know anything about history. Nothing. You know nothing about the history, and you're just trampling on the Holocaust and all of the horrific atrocities that happened. Mm-hmm. It's crazy. Ugh. It's like, oh, when you become what you hate. I'm like, you've lost the fucking plot. Yeah. Like, you have broken your brain if you're trying to make that comparison. I have no tolerance for that. I can't. There are very few lines I draw, and this is one that I draw. Mm. I mean, my friend is a Holocaust survivor. I hear the pain in his voice when he talks about seeing this stuff. He knows where this shit leads. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it broke me. So, keeping it light here at Dumpster Fire.
Let's do a little palate cleansing.
Keep it light. Let's do palate cleanser. Sorry, guys. Yeah. There's a lot of shit going down, and we here on Dumpster Fire cannot be silent.
The internet is glorious.
No, I haven't taken the test. Why the hell would I take a test? Come on, man.
All right, Phetasy news.
We had Mitchell Jackson on Walk-Ins Welcome. Please subscribe to our podcast. It is so cool and different and loving. And we also have big news coming about the podcast soon. Maybe. Well, unless they watch this Dumpster Fire, decide, never mind, we want nothing to do with these losers. Subscribe, write a review, leave us all the stars. Join Phetasy.com, our community. As we mentioned, you get the unedited version of Dumpster Fire on Sunday. You get workouts. You get to join us for drop-ins, welcome Zoom calls. We're doing writer's prompts. It is the easiest way to support us as a team if you want to keep us independent and ranting and raving and trying to make sense of all of this while we still can. The more of you that subscribe, the longer we get to do this. So just keep that in mind. Put your money where your mouth is. Substack. I'm on Substack. Writing. It's free. Just sign up. It's a great way to keep in touch. It's a whole other thing. You don't have to subscribe. If you subscribe to the Phetasy community, and I do put anything behind a paywall on Substack, you will get it at the Phetasy community as well. And BridgetPhetasy.com for merch. We got merch and shirts and hoodies and all kinds of things. Thank you for bearing with me. Thank you for letting me vent. Like, subscribe, comment, touch my bells and buttons. Any food you want to send us, please. Thank you to patrons and supporters. Thank you to Better Phetasy for all of the research. Thank you, Zen Pro Audio, for the mic. And thank you, Sam and Maggie.
Thank you, Bridget.
We did it. This has been your Dumpster Fire for the week of May 16th to May 22nd. I'm Bridget Phetasy. Now make me rich! Dun, 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 dun.